Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. It's your boy Sophisticated Jerk and KC Fred in the building. What's good? What's good, Fred? How you been, man?
Pretty good, man. It's been kind of cold, but I'm glad it's spring.
Yeah, I
So
feel you, man. They need to warm up. Them mornings be cold. I'm ready for the summertime.
I know that's right.
But
Yeah.
all right, man, we'll go ahead and jump into the review. So yeah, today we're gonna be breaking down Venom: The Last Dance. So let me go ahead and pull up the slides, and then we'll jump into the trailer. Then, of course, we're gonna give our ratings. So I'm definitely want to see what kind of rating you gave this one because Frederick's been on a rampage these past couple weeks, man. He's been showing no love. But all right, let me go ahead and kick this off real quick. So Venom: The Last Dance is a 2024 American superhero film written and directed by Kelly Marcel, which features the Marvel Comics character Venom. All right. So the plot on this is Eddie Brock and Venom must make a devastating decision as they're pursued by a mysterious military man and the alien monsters from Venom's homeworld. So the directors and producers of this movie, directed by, again, Kelly Marcel, produced by Avi Arad, Matt, Amy Pascal, Kelly Marcel, Tom Hardy, and Hutch Parker. So the cast on this movie, of course, we had Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, aka Venom, Shai Welter as General Rex Strickland. And if y'all watching this show and I don't get to your last name, it's because I ain't gonna try to butcher it no more. You'd be like, why did he say my last name? Yeah, that's why. So Juno Temple as Dr. Theodora Teddy Payne, Reese Irfans as Martin Moon, Stephen Graham as Patrick Mulligan, Peggy Lou as Miss Chin, Clark Bako as Sadie Christmas, and Alana Ubach as Nuva Moon. So, all right, we'll go ahead and watch the trailer real quick. Then we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the rating.
Eddie, my home has found us.
You should probably know that I have a really dark and unpredictable side to me.
Stop speaking.
I'm giving you a chance, sweetie.
Say when.
When?
What are you?
We are.
We're Venom!
We are.
Venom!
No.
Oh!
Yeah, we
are.
Venom. We're gonna need to work on that.
Delicious! You take me to all the finest places.
I need time, love.
We always knew it was impossible. That we were alone in the universe. Take your protein pills and it's our job to make sure that remains a secret.
Let's go get him. Oh, shit! We are fugitives. On the run. In the shit.
You're living the dream, my friend.
You mean it?
No! Eddie Brock! This is chance!
Hello!
There has to be a reason they're after us.
Eddie, my home, has found us. Jesus Christ! There's an army coming that cannot be beaten. As long as Venom lives, everyone, everything will end.
We may not make it out of this alive, buddy.
Eddie, the time has come.
How fast do you think you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out.
It was a long ass trailer. They might as well just play the movie and shit. So all right, I'll go ahead and I'll kick it off, man. I'll go first. Damn, this one's a little tough, man. So I'm a big Marvel fan, but I had to go 6.7 on this one. So it's still in the good territory, but I'll break it down after you get your rating. So what's your rating for this one?
I rolled the lucky 7.
Okay. So you ride on the 7 between good and very good.
Yep.
All right. So I'll go ahead. I'll start. So the reason why I gave this a 6.7, a good rating. Big fan of Marvel, and I'm actually like I think Venom is probably one of my, I'll say, Marvel favorites characters, so this one, I think they carried on the series a little too long. So I think in this one, of course at the end, they showed Venom sacrificing himself, but they introduced like the other symbiotes and also, the other villain. But I think they could have made a better introduction. So I think they was a little lazy with the plot and the storyline. And then it also, the middle of the movie, because like that first scene that we was watching in the trailer where Venom like took their heads, I was like, oh shit, they coming on strong on this one. Then after that, it just went kind of dry, when they're driving around with the family, it just got real corny, over the top with the sense of humor stuff. Because I like their relationship that they have, but I think sometimes they try to do a little too much comedy. It works for like Deadpool and stuff, but for this one, it's like, man, I want them a little darker, man. The actual Venom and stuff, like in the comic books, throw a little bit of humor in there, but man, there should have been a little bit more action in the middle to break that up. The end was pretty tough, so it jumped back to like a good place. But even then, like I said, that I think the middle part just like drew out too long without the connection of like the symbiotes. I think they like, because what was it? They were tracking him or something, like he had it. So yeah, it was just too easy for them. It seemed like there was a too much thought process in that storyline. So I wish they would have made that a little just jumping down and with the director or the producer, what would I change? I would have made it where, maybe they fought some of the other symbiotes. And then, like some of the other aliens came down and then they like formed up and they're like, all right, let's put our beef to the side. We got the bigger fish to fry, they're coming down. So let's team up then, something like that. Cause yeah, just the way that it kind of played out. They didn't really show the other ones. They was getting wiped out all quick. That thing was just swallowing the other ones up. I'm like, damn, they didn't even put up no fight. So yeah, I wish they would have like prolonged them a little bit. Like I said, maybe had a movie before you jumped into the last dance on this one, where it's like let them all of those ones fight, where he's got to kind of battle or team up. There was like two sides, and then go to this one. So yeah, I thought they try to jam too much stuff in the movie where it's just like, okay, we got to introduce this new, villain and stuff, but we also, got to kind of kill this version off a little bit and reintroduce it. So I thought they just probably did too much on this. So some of the scenes, jumping back up to what scenes and performances stuck out. Still think Tom Hardy, man, great actor and stuff. So I definitely like his performance in there. I do like how they introduced like the Christmas one. So it looks like she's gonna be around, and even the one doctor, she got her symbiote. So I do like how they introduced some of that, but it was like too far in the end. It's like, damn, I wish they could have like fought a little bit between, got them, had some of them escape, kind of like with the other movie where it was like Carnage got one. So yeah, I think they could have done a better job. But as far as scenes, definitely that first scene when he was walking at her, that definitely stuck out. And the whole, I'll say, ending sequence, it did pick back up with the action and stuff. So I did like that ending part. And would I recommend this movie to anyone? Absolutely. I'm still a Marvel fan. I still think you should watch all of them. Probably got to go see the other ones before you jump into this one to get a refresher. But even then, if you just watch this one singly, it's still a good movie. Maybe it's just my expectations with Marvel that I'm a little harsher on it. But if I probably didn't know the comic books, then I'll be like, all right, it's still a good movie because they did have a lot of good special effects. So all right, I'll kick it over to you.
It's funny that you said all that, because actually that was kind of my sentiments the whole way. Was, if you're a big Marvel fan, the bar has been set so high, because you got to think about it. You had Iron Man, and you got all these people, even Spider-Man. You got all these people that are in there, Captain America, all this stuff, and so you expect more. And then I actually had the opportunity to watch the other two before I saw this third one. So it was I was looking for such a build up and such a climax, because the whole essence of it is the last dance. And so I see where they was going with the plot, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's Venom's last dance. It's not Tom Hardy's last dance, but it's Venom's last dance, because he does all of a sudden realize that he has enjoyed the vessel that he's been using, as in Tom Hardy. But at the end of the day, he realizes that the guy, Eddie, the character, he's not going to be able to use him too much longer, and that he's pretty much kind of jeopardized his life to the point where all of a sudden he needs to go ahead and physically, emotionally, everything needs to let this alien go. And but before he did that, he was like, "Hey, let me go ahead and save the planet." And I just thought that was really cool by him doing that. The plot and storyline, The Last Dance, I thought it was very there were some parts that was real corny in there. One of them was The Last Dance itself, where Venom, he says, "Come on, Eddie, get into the spirit." And he meets Miss Chin at the casino, and she takes him back to her hotel. And Venom was like, "Let's go," because he's actually been inside her as well. And so they had, somehow Venom had learned how to dance, and those two knew all the steps. And Eddie was like, "When did you learn all these moves?" Whatever. Everything was synchronized. And so that was just hilarious. And honestly, it just kind of played into the theme, because this really was his last dance, his last stand, as far as not just being inside Eddie, but also the reality of it is being on Earth. And so I'm kind of like with you. It was cool to see all, I don't know what you call them, his brothers and sisters, the simian aliens or whatever. That was all in tubes that they had captured and stuff like that. But when the real aliens showed up, I thought it was hilarious about how all these people that was helping out in Area 51 was like, "Yeah, go ahead and give me an alien suit real quick. I need to help out." And they jump in. One of the most hilarious parts in there, also as far as scenes that stuck out, was actually the family scene. And you've seen the Venom's always been hardcore in the first two movies, and you see the softer side of Sears and Venom this time, and here he is, singing the songs with the family. And it was the whole family, kids and all, knew the words and stuff. I didn't even know the words. I didn't even know the song, and I was just like clueless. But Venom happened to know it, and he sang along, and I just thought that was, I don't know, this whole movie felt like it wasn't even about Eddie. Honestly, it felt like it. Eddie was just the vessel. It was really about Venom. It was about his past, who he came with, how he got down here, and was he going to be able to survive or save not only Eddie but his family that was still there. And of course, a lot of them end up giving their lives. I did like Christmas too, who she even all of a sudden end up kind of losing her life to a certain degree, going trying to fight that fight or whatever. And then what was it, the doctor, Dr. Teddy Payne or whatever, she had a little alien suit in the jar or whatever she pulled out real quick to try to go back and say Christmas or whatever. So I thought that scene was hilarious too. I thought it was awesome that to see the guy that played the General Strickland, who was the one that was going around chasing him, because he's actually the same guy that was in 2012. I don't know if you remember that. But I just thought it was kind of interesting.
That was the brother, right?
Yeah, the brother that was
Victor Sweets.
Yeah.
You remember Four Brothers? He was the gangster.
So it was cool. They had some star power in here. So I just thought that was really cool. And then of course, the simple fact that he befriended this family who the father's name in there was Martin, and they was Eddie saves their lives and said, okay, you need to get out of here. But he introduced the son to Venom or whatever, and Venom comes out and, as if he's supposed to be happy, alien or whatever. And then he rescues them and gets them to safety. But then all of a sudden the father turns back around and actually, shoots a bazooka and saves Eddie too. So it was just kind of like a, tit for tat, payment type of thing. But yeah, if there was anything that I would change, really, it would probably just be the simple fact. I love the action scenes and stuff like that. I think, like you were saying, the character build up, the way they did it with the humor and stuff, it was funny at times, but then sometimes it was like corny and long-winded type of thing, because this movie ended up being a lot longer than what was anticipated, especially for it to be an action movie. And then so with Marvel, I just feel like, okay, you're most of the time you're either one or the other, but you never just both. And being that this was supposed to be his last one, I just thought this would be more of a home run. And I didn't really feel like that. I almost felt like you hit a double or something like that. And so I couldn't get it no higher than 7. But would I recommend it to anyone? Yes, I would definitely recommend it to people, just for the simple fact of it is, if you put all 3 of them together, then I can see people all of a sudden want to go see it as a collection item, kind of like what you did with Star Wars and stuff like that. And then you would give it kind of a decent rating. You would almost say it was okay, because like I said, the third one is supposed to be the big climax. And at the end of the day, it's like he sacrificed himself. So at the end, it was just like, most of the time you want a hero that all of a sudden is victorious, not the one that all of a sudden, dies in battles and kind of like Armageddon, or say, this is it, I'm about to push the button. So, which is in essence, that's kind of like what Venom did, took all the aliens inside of him and then just boom, blew himself up or whatever, with the help of Strickland. But yeah, overall, I would, like I said, I'd say it was 7. It was definitely good. I didn't have any issues with it. Like I said, I just would have probably wanted a different ending, just to be honest with you. And then I honestly, Jared, I thought about it, and at the beginning, the big lord that was over those creatures, I would have thought that he would have came out the shackles, but they kept talking about the codex or whatever, and that's what he needed in order to be able to be released, so that way he could dominate, and which takes you back to Marvel, because you always think of Thanos with the ring, and stuff like that. And So I kind of got the whole concept because that's kind of like how Marvel is. They put all these movies together. I just was looking for the home run hit, and I felt like I never got it in this third movie like I wanted it to. So when you say The Last Dance, I didn't really think it was literally a dance, which is what they end up doing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm thinking, of man, this is about to be the fight of the century. We're about
Yeah,
to
that's
do
what I was
Muhammad
thinking.
Ali, you know what I'm saying? We're going toe for toe, about to uppercut. And here you are over here doing the two-step and the, this other stuff. I just wasn't expecting that. But like I said, you had to put the funny in there and put the, like I said, they kind of softened Venom from the last two movies. He was really more, I guess you would call it family friendly compared to
Yeah,
all the
yeah, this one
killing
was
that we
soft.
did.
Yeah.
Because you go from one extreme to the other, because you go from where you bit off people's heads, and you letting them know, hey, I'm the biggest, I'm the best, I'm the baddest. And then over here, you're singing songs with the family in some Scooby-Doo ride. And I'm just like going down to Las Vegas. And so Area 51. And then, like I said, it was just, it was I don't know, two different extremes and never something that was right there in the middle to take everybody on the journey. But like I said, if you watch the first two, you really got the essence of what those two are all about. And I just was hoping that they would kind of finish strong instead of just all of a sudden one surviving and one not. So that's pretty much where I was at with that. But overall, like I said, it was good. It was good enough. Let's put it like that. It was good enough. I mean, it wasn't Marvel worthy, but it was definitely good enough. So you got to turn the light on so we can see you.
What's good, amazing?
This is amazing
So
after 5.
so amazing. What's your rating real quick?
I'm going with 6.2.
Oh, okay. 6.2, good.
Yeah.
So give us a quick recap. Why'd you give it that rating?
So I was hoping to be able to watch the first one, just to have better insight. But even without watching it, I don't know. I just liked it. It reminded me of Men in Black and a little bit of Transformers, I guess, but with humor. So that's what I liked about it. I felt like you definitely knew there was a first movie, but the plot and storyline were like well enough made that you didn't necessarily have to watch the first one to also enjoy the second one. So I definitely would go back to watch the first one, but you don't have to watch it to, like not be lost. Do you want me to keep going?
Nah, you good, because I know
Okay.
you traveling and stuff. So no, I gave it a 6.7 and Fred gave it a 7. So yeah,
Yeah.
my take was like I think the plot and the storyline was a little off. But let me get to the last one. So this is just for probably me and Fred's. Fred, you gonna change your score, stay the same, or go up or go up, down, or stay the same?
No, I'm definitely going to stay right there. Like I
Yeah, I'm gonna stay.
said, I mean, with the special effects that they did and everything, they did what they had to do to try to make it definitely worth your while. Like I said, but in the simple fact that this was the third one and basically the last one, you was looking for that home run, and I felt like that's where it fell short. So I couldn't give it any higher than that.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna stay the same. Amazing. You want to change your score a little bit, or are you gonna stay the same? 6.2.
No, I must say, I didn't realize it was even at number 3, so I'll say the same. I thought it was good.
So let me ask you. So yeah, because just thinking about it, I think in part 2, if they would have, because that one dude, the villain that's at the end, he's actually pretty powerful. Like if you look at the comic book, so it's gonna be some shit, down the line. But I think they should have started introducing them in part 2. Then, like I said, maybe in part 3, that's when they had the other ones like Venom, the symbiotes.
Right.
Like, say maybe they formed some alliances, and he could have still like died in that part
Right.
3, but it would have been a better, like I say, roll out our introduction of
Yeah.
that villain when he comes, because like you could tell that's the route they're going, but it's just like they just jammed it in.
Right. And the way we're in this year, I mean, if you think about it, the last few movies that's been out, like Mission Impossible, they had a part 1 and a part 2. So it would have been that probably would have been my biggest change that I wish that we could have did was you cut the movie where all of a sudden, yeah, maybe you did the character development at the beginning, but then that second half of the movie would have been just pure action. And if this is the last stands, this is the last call. I mean, we're going for glory, and I mean, we're going for the swinging for the fences, and we're getting ready to blow up some stuff and take some people out. And that's when you really would want flat out war. And that's what I was kind of expecting, especially with Marvel, because you got to think about it. That's how it did it with the end game, and they just didn't quite get there. I felt like they was wanting to go down that road, but maybe it was just too soon because the end game was we lost some good people, some who are never coming back. And so I get where they was going with that, but it would have been nice for Venom to really kind of hit a home run out the park. And like I said, that just never came. So had to leave it right there at 7.
But you know how that suit does shed and all that, so I could see Venom coming back, especially with that villain Noel, because Noel know about that life. That's what I'm saying. They all gotta like team up, so that's what it's probably gonna be like. All those creatures they gotta fight him, and yeah, that's a whole storyline within itself. So that's why I was like, damn, they could have introduced that a little better, man. But all right, y'all, thanks for tuning in.
I
Let
have a
us.
quick
Oh,
question
go.
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I didn't understand was if it was called The Last Dance and then Noel at the end was like basically he's coming. So I kind of felt like isn't there going to definitely be another one?
Yeah, I think so, but it's probably not gonna be more Venom focused, because it's gonna be more like Noel's one of the ones like Thanos where you got to bring a whole squad to take him out. That's how powerful he is. Like, so that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be more or less probably like the Avengers, how they all got to team up, but it's gonna be like all of them collectively. So I think that's how they're probably gonna go with it. Introduce some of the, like the 2 females that had suits, so they might focus on them a little bit more with some other characters. So I think that's why they probably cut it, because Tom Hardy probably got like so many movies and stuff. So they're probably all right, let's bring other people in so we could cut
Oh,
some of
okay.
these costs.
Yeah, that was the only part because I was watching it and then I was like, okay, because I remember you always saying, hold on, they're gonna play something. So I was like going through the thing and then I seen them come up and I was like, oh, then now it makes it seem like there's gonna be more. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
because
you
that
understood the last dance was when Venom was dancing with Miss Ching, though, right?
Yeah, that actually was one of the scenes I liked.
I thought that was the
So they had to
corniest part.
live up to the name. So I was just like,
But I do think like, yeah, that one villain though, he's like I said, he's pretty powerful in them storylines. It'd be take mad people to take him out. So that's what I'm saying. They probably all got to team up. But all right then, y'all, definitely thanks for tuning in. Let us know how you feel, and we're gonna keep breaking these down. But peace.
peace.